and some of us are there on a weekly basis. Your safety meeting starts in 10 minutes and you don't have a topic ready to discuss with your team before the day begins. Hello, my name is Colin and I'm with Robey Inc. In this video, we're going over some quick Toolbox Talk Ideas that will hopefully help you crush your safety meeting with your team and get prepared for the workday. But before we begin, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future Toolbox Talk videos. One Toolbox Talk topic is fire extinguisher safety. This is an oldie but goodie, so first and foremost, go over with your team the different types of fire extinguishers and what they're used for. This will ensure that individuals may double check that they have the correct fire extinguisher for their work application. Also, it is important to remind your team to only battle the fire at the early stages. A general rule of thumb is no larger than a trash can. One of the most common and important Toolbox Talk topics would be about the Hardhat and its inspection. Hard hats are the most common PPE found on the job site, and they are essential to protecting employees from head trauma, falling objects, overhead hazards, or electrical shock. This is an easy Toolbox Talk conversation to have with your employees. You can simply talk about its benefits and how to properly inspect before each day's of work. Another topic for Toolbox Talks would be using the ladder and its inspection. As simple as using a ladder seems to be, the injury statistics indicate otherwise, and that is one of the most abused tools that we have in the workforce. Accidents, particularly in a domestic setting, are frequently caused by overreaching, overextending from the ladders to complete certain tasks rather than doing the safe thing, which is climbing down and moving for better access or getting a taller ladder. OSHA studies showed that 100% of ladder-related accidents could have been prevented using proper safety. This is a great topic to talk with your team because ladders are frequently used. Our next topic will be personal protective equipment. This is so easy to put together last minute for a Toolbox Talk. What you need to do is go over what PPE is required, where it's required, and go over each specific type of PPE and talk about what it's supposed to protect the employees against. A lot of people would ask, hey, why do we need this, or do we even need to do this? And what you need to do is clarify and explain why OSHA and the employer requires this personal protective equipment. Clarify those things for the employee, and then when you're done, go over how to care for and inspect before each use. This next Toolbox Talk is one that everyone knows and heard 1,000 times, but according to OSHA, 26% of non-fatal workplace injuries are caused by slips, trips, and falls, so clearly we're missing something here. What I like to go over with the employees are a few things that they may not have considered, such as your shoes. If you're wearing safety footwear with worn tread, you run the risk of not really knowing how well these shoes are going to perform throughout the day. People often catch their toe on a stairwell or something like that, so if you have new ones, give yourself a few days to break them in and be a little extra careful during those days. One Toolbox Talk you may not have considered is fleet vehicle and driver safety. According to NIOSH, National Institutes of Safety and Health, car crashes are the leading cause of workplace fatalities, regardless of the industry location or the place of employment. These rates haven't changed much over time, so it's a good idea to remind your employees about defensive driving. Take a few minutes to go over the most basic rules of thumb when it comes to car safety, and then avoid distractions. Put your phone away and don't eat and drive. If you have to eat, make sure to pull over, finish your lunch, and then continue with your journey. Also, check your local DOT regulations for vehicle safety. Being prepared for emergencies, most people resort to what they know. If they don't know what to do, they may panic, which may lead to a bad day. So what you want to go over in this Toolbox Talk is to plan for emergency on a frequent basis. Let's assume there's an evacuation every other month or so. We need to know who's going to take attendance sheet, keep track of everyone at the emergency assembly area, and how cautious do we really need to be during the event. It is important to discuss with your employees who will decide to take emergency aid straight away or seek in-house support. Regardless, it is important to have people thinking about these scenarios so they are prepared if anything were to occur. Another Toolbox Talk is planning and hazard identifications. Sometimes we assume that people are ready to identify as hazards, but not everyone thinks the same way we do. For instance, we may get a new employee or even unexperienced employee who haven't had a chance to look at the workforce in the way required. So a structured approach is a good thing to go through when it comes to identifying hazards. Risk is a large area to cover, therefore start with different types of hazards such as physical and biological hazards, dangers of chemicals, and other preventatives. Discuss each area briefly to get people start thinking and broadcast the discussion. Another important Toolbox Talk is fall prevention. Now, while slips, stumbles, and falls are one thing, fall prevention and protection is another. So we'll focus on falls from height. Falling from great heights is still a major issue in the construction industry, and is still OSHA's #1 most cited violation for construction. So take a minute to explain the difference between fall restraint and fall arrest. Also, how you want people to adapt to either situation is important. A lot of the time when I review fall protection plans, I see employees who haven't really thought about the entire process and the setup of their harness and lanyard. It is important to account and consider, is there actually going to be enough distance from the anchor point that if he or she falls, they won't come in contact with the ground first. Another scenario to discuss was, say you have an employee wearing their full fall protection setup, doing everything right, and they slip and fall, and now they're hanging from the fall arrest system. You only get about 15 minutes in that harness before the lack of circulation can cause serious nerve damage, so it's important to have an emergency action plan in place in case this accident or event were to occur.
Okay, that's good.
One Toolbox Talk topic you may not have considered is workplace safety culture. This is one of my favorites because it's such a dynamic and interesting moving target for most companies, but it's really good to get out in the open and have people talk about it. You should talk about things like, how do we address safety as a group, are employees adopting the right safety habits, and are managers practicing what we preach. Also, think about how new employees are taught the company's safety culture. Are they reminded that safety is more important than money? For employees who haven't had a lot of safety training, they will struggle at first, but if you're talking and practicing the right safety habits daily, it will soon become second nature to them, and they will be able to correctly identify potential safety hazards. The more you talk about it with your employees, the easier it will become. I hope these Toolbox Talk topics help you out next time you're in a bind for your next safety meeting. Thank you for watching, and if you found anything in this video of value, please go down, hit the like button, and consider sharing for others to benefit from as well. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe and make sure to hit the bell icon so you get notified of all of our future Toolbox Talk conversations. Until next time, I'll see you on the job site.